Welcome into BLTV Channel 6. I'm Brian Kell. We've reached out to many of the candidates involved in hotly contested races this August 4th, and this is one of those candidates that we're glad to have with us at this table. It's Heath Gunter. He's running for Grundy County Sheriff. Heath, thanks for joining us here on BLTV Channel 6.
I appreciate you having me, and thank you for this opportunity to be able to talk to the citizens.
Yeah, tell us about you.
Well, my name's Heath Gunter. I'm from Barker's Cove. My parents are Carl and Margie Pemberton. They're deceased. My stepdad was referred to as Cotton. I'm married 28 years of this month. My wife is Cindy Hornbuckle Gunter. Her father was the late Carl Hornbuckle, and her mother is Patricia Hornbuckle. I'm married. I got three children. I got a son named Casey, a daughter named Kimberly, and another son named Austin. 5 grandkids already.
Awesome.
I got 4 granddaughters and a grandson. And my daughter and my granddaughters all live down in Florida, so it's hard to get to see them, but love them just as much.
Mm-hmm. Recently, a Metro Nashville lawmaker announced she would introduce a resolution urging the Metro Nashville Police Department to make enforcement of the abortion ban a quote-unquote low priority. What are your thoughts on lawmakers pushing for low priority enforcement of laws to police departments? And the second part of this question, do you have certain laws that you place as quote-unquote low priority on enforcement?
This is one of the questions I've been really debating back and forth how I wanted to answer it. I think the lawmakers, if they're going to pass the laws, they should not interfere with the departments that's trying to enforce the law. I feel like if it was a priority enough to make it a law and they voted on it and it passed, then they shouldn't ask the police departments, sheriff's departments to take second steps on enforcing the laws. As far as what do I consider a low priority and do I have any, I really don't have a low priority call for me. For example, if a citizen was to call me with a concern, a care, call 911 center for whatever law they feel like's being broke at that time, I would not dare place that as a low priority because we have seen some of that in the past up where I live in Grundy, and I think the citizens deserve better. I mean, what I may consider a low priority may be very top of their list, and it would not be fair for me to second guess or question the level of concern that they have for that law.
What role should the Sheriff's Department play in promoting or successfully promoting public safety?
I think the Sheriff's Department should be out front. I mean, we're responsible for the safety of our courts, the safety of our county. We're responsible for the care of our schools. As Sheriff's Department employees, as a sheriff, all the way down to the lady that answers the phone, we should be setting the example. We should be out there educating the public on what their rights is, as far as, the safety. What's the reason why we have to have car seats? What's the reason why we have seat belts? The studies show that you're more likely to survive a car wreck if you're wearing your seat belt. And so general classes like that, or just stepping up and maybe taking a few moments to educate a young driver, saying, hey, young man, if you set that cell phone down, one, it's against the law to be on it while you're driving, but think of the possibilities that could happen while you're on it. You may meet a family head on, you may lose control and leave the road. So as far as setting the standards, I think we should be upfront and very present and vigilant about it.
What is your view of alternatives to incarceration, such as diversion into mental health or addiction treatment programs as a way of promoting public safety?
Well, mental health is one of the subjects that I've been touching on. I don't feel like we have enough education in the Sheriff's Department. When I worked over in the Hampton County area, mental health was top of their, one of their high priorities. And I feel like in Grundy County, we need to bring, we need to bring more awareness to mental health. Because not every person that you encounter may actually know that they're breaking the law at that time. Mental health issues, as you know, is on the rise, not only in the county and city levels, but over United States wide. And there's not enough education, I believe, right now in the law enforcement department to treat those and in the court systems to get those people the proper help.
The recent shooting in Uvalde, Texas, has caused many parents to question, local police forces on the response to a situation involving a shooter at a school. What can you say to parents watching now to assure them of your department's response to that type of situation if you're elected Grundy County Sheriff?
Well, this is a hot topic up in Grundy right now, and I can assure you, Grundy County, if I'm elected sheriff, that we will not have an incident like that to where my officers are standing waiting, looking down a hallway. They will not have to wait for me to show up. They won't have to wait for an order. My officers will be trained to engage and save the lives of our students and our kids. There is no excuse, no reason why an officer should not engage the threat when that's what the citizens are paying them for. But school safety will be one of the top priorities in my department. And if I ever have an officer that does not take the safety of our children or the citizens to heart or put that his most or her most priority, they will not be employed in the Grundy County Sheriff's Department under me.
How do you ride the line on inmate care? It seems like you've got two different extremes, I guess. Bread and water only to maybe another extreme could be it's a college dorm atmosphere. Where do you fall on that, and how do you ride the line on inmate care?
Well, this comment's probably going to get me a little feedback, but I'm not a hug-a-thug. But at the same time, when I went into law enforcement after coming out of the military, my dad or my stepdad told me, I chose this job, that it's somebody's son, somebody's father, somebody's daughter, somebody's grandchild, and they need to be treated with that respect. Now, if we have somebody incarcerated, they need more than bread and water. I mean, their health and their well-being is in our charge. I mean, look at our soldiers and our Marines deployed in the desert. They at least get the proper nutrition. It may be an MRE, which I ate for many years in the service, but they at least get a hot meal. Now, am I for video games and cable TV? No. But do they deserve adequate health care? Yes. Do they deserve to be fed properly with the right nutrition and stuff of that level? Yes, they do.
We've got about 5 minutes here, Mr. Gunter, and maybe talk to the folks out there in Grundy County as to why you are the best candidate to be Grundy County Sheriff.
Well, Grundy County, I didn't choose just at the flip of a coin to run for sheriff. I had actually planned to move to Florida to try to be closer with my grandkids, to just commute back and forth to our home in Palmer. But after the many text messages, citizens stopping me on the street, and many long hours of conversations with my wife, we chose to decide to get into the race at the request of the citizens. I've got over 20 years of military experience. I've lived all over the United States, and I've been deployed all over the country. I mean, all over the world. I chose Grundy County to bring my children back to raise, for them to go to school in Grundy. I believe in the people of Grundy. I love Grundy County, and that's where I wanted my family to be. Now, I believe my experience of 20 years of military, 10 years plus experience in law enforcement. I've worked for Children's Services as a police officer. I was over shift patrol. I've worked in the schools. I've been an investigator. I've worked in the jail. I've been an instructor. But most of all, I feel like it's time for a change in leadership in Grundy County. Not saying that Sheriff Sharam has done a bad job, by no means. I just feel like, sometimes another, even on long flights, they change out the pilots in an airplane. So I feel like it's time for new leadership, new guidance, and more local officers working in Grundy County.
Mr. Heath Gunter, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we want to thank you for joining us on BLTV Channel 6. A reminder that Thursday, August 4th is Election Day. At 7 p.m. that night, we'll have live election coverage for 6 counties here from the studio here at BLTV Channel 6. Also, we'll have that not only on Channel 6, 306 and HD on the BLTV lineup, but also our Facebook account will carry it live, and also our YouTube channel, our Ben Lomond Connect YouTube channel, will have it live as well. So many different ways to be able to catch our coverage, again, starting at 7 p.m. on August 4th. Thanks so much for watching, and join us again soon.